dad and mom encouraged me. They said, what you like, you do, but at the same time, you have to study. Basketball, you go over the ring and you slam the ball right into the basket, either in one hand, two hands, or a reverse dunk. That's called dunking.
That you made your mark.
I made a mark.
Territory.
Yes, the first person in India to have started dunking. Namaskara, and it's a great privilege and honor to be on your channel today, and I would like to thank the channel and all the viewers who are here today.
Thank you so much, sir.
To start off, from my childhood, I was a player who was always outdoor. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಆಚೆನೇ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಂದ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಅ ಔಟ್ಡೋರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. BL ಕಾಲನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಆದ ರೆಜಿನಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅವರು BL ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯಾಗಿ ಜಾಯ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು BL ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರು. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು 20 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಬಂದು BL ಕಾಲನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಶಾಲೆ ಮುಗಿದು ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ 3 ಗಂಟೆ ಇಲ್ಲ 3:30 ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಔಟ್ಡೋರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್, ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್, ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಬಡ್ಡಿ, ಲಗೋರಿ, ಗಿಲ್ಲಿ ದಾಂಡ್ಲ್, ಈ ಥರ ಯಾರು ಇಮ್ಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಗೇಮ್ನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಲ್ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಆ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಆಟ ಆಡಿದ್ರು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ 3:30ಇಂದ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಲೈಟ್ ಹಾಕೋವರೆಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಕಡೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾರೋ ಮನೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ 6:37 ಮನೆಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಅದುವರೆಗೂ ನೀವು ದೇ ನೆವರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಾದರ್ ವೇರ್ ಯು ಆರ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ಡ್ playing sports and it was a wonderful journey there. 70s, 80s ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಬಾಯ್, ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಾರು ಇವನು ಓದೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದರಿಂದ ಆಟ ಆಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸೊ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎದುರೋರು. ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸು, ಬೋತ್ ಮೈ ಡ್ಯಾಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಾಮ್ ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮೀ. ದೇ ಸೆಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಡೂ, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ ಕೊಡುವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡಾಕ್ ಬನಿಯನ್ ಇರೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪೇಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಟೀಮ್ ಹೆಸರು. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ನಾವು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ಬೈ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ನಾನು 8th 9th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಬರುವಾಗ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 8th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಬಾಲ್ವಿನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್, ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್, ಹಾಕಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದು ಪ್ರಿವಿಲೇಜ್ ಕೊಡೋರು. ನಾನು ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಟೀಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೆ, ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಮಲ್ಲಿ, ಜೂನಿಯರ್ ಟೀಮಲ್ಲಿ, ಇವರ್ ಚಾಂಪಿಯನ್ ಟೀಮ್. ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ 8th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಐ ಮೂವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು BL ಸ್ಕೂಲ್, ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ಇನ್ BL ಸ್ಕೂಲ್. ಸೊ BL ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರಾಗಿ ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್, ನಾನು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆವಾಗ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟಚ್ಡ್ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಟು ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಟು ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಟು ಕಬಡ್ಡಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ 3-4 ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ ಆಟ ಆಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಎವ್ರಿ 3 months ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೇಮ್ಸು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ದೆರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಿಟ್ಯುಯೇಷನ್ ಅಟ್ 9th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್. ಅವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡೋರು, ಒಂದು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸು ಲೈಕ್ ಹರಿ, ರವಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್ ಆಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದು ಪಕ್ಕದ ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲೇ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು BL ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ, BL ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಮ್ಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ಕಲ್, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸು, ರವಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾಜರ್, ರಾಜ್ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ಸು. ಸೊ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೇಟ್ವರೆಗೂ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, how are the players playing? I used to wait for them to finish so that we could all cycle back home. But after they finish their practice, I will take the ball, just run around, shoot. That's how children do it, you know. You don't want to stay because you always want to keep moving around. So maybe I had that energetic thing in childhood. So ಹೋಗಿ ಬಾಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಆವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋರು, ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಓಂ ಶಂಕರ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವರಿಗೆ ಕೋಚ್ ಇದ್ದರು. ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗುರುಗಳು. He was the first NIS qualified coach in India. and he was a state player and he was playing for BEL, coach player ಎಲ್ಲ BL ಗಿದ್ರು. ಅವರು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋರು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀನು ಟಾಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ, ಬಂದು ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಆಡು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ಸೆಷನ್ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು 2-3 ಸತಿ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರಲ್ಲೇ ವಿ ಸ್ವೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಟೂರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಟೂರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಟೀಜಿಯಸ್ ಟೂರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ಐವ್ ಶೇರ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು ಪೀಪಲ್. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಟೀಜಿಯಸ್ ಟೂರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 8 ಚಾಂಪಿಯನ್ಶಿಪ್ಸ್ ವಿ ವನ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ as players, we were all bonding as friends because most of them were neighbors in this road or the next road, and you could walk into yaradre manege uncle auntie anbittu hogta idvi. So that was the kind of bonding we had. So when you played, they never felt, though I was the top scorer in all the match, ella coverage idrunu, all the players, they were always supportive. They never had jealousy. They always bonded. They wanted the school team to win. So that is how it started. And I had 2 very senior players. One is Nazar and one is Rajkumar. I'm sorry, both of them are no more now, but they are very senior players. They were very good basketball players and they were very good handball players. So they used to motivate all our school team players. See, this is a part where the coach was there. But after that, because they were living in the colony, they used to guide us all the time. And they used to encourage us by taking us for various tournaments. Now, Air Force Station ge, ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಯಂಗ್ಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸೈಕಲಲ್ಲಿ BL ಕಾಲನಿ ಟು Jalali is about 4-5 kilometers. They used to take us. We used to play matches with the Air Force. They used to take us to various colleges, make us play tournaments with college team in a school players. So they also found that these boys are very good. Yes, and they worked really hard with us, both of them, to encourage all our boys. So many of them, the old timers, ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನೆನೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, that how they would work on our fundamentals, how they motivated us. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಮೈ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ವೆರಿ ಥಿಂಗ್, ದೇ ಸೆಡ್ ಯು do anything, do it sincerely. I always remember my dad, my mom, they used to say, do things sincerely. Result is later on, and have values. All my players after practice, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರೋರು, ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋರು.
It's a very integral part of discipline of growing up.
Yes. The discipline was one thing which my parents always was insisting, but at the same time they gave me the freedom. You want to go, you want to play, but when the lights are on, because that's when you have to be back for studies. That's when all my friends would come. They used to come home. They were my parents used to encourage them. They used to treat them like their own children. They used to give them some juice. And even when I'm not there, when I've gone for tournament, they all used to come and say hello to my parents, and they used to go. So that was a very good childhood. I had played 79 junior nationals for Karnataka. Since in that 4 years, 80 we were the winners, 81 we were the winners, and 82 when we played, they had, so immediately from the camp from Hyderabad, I went directly to Pune Nationals.
If you scan his body, the doctor might only find 2 things. One is bones, the other is basketball.
The lush greenery, of course, BL area, andre that time, especially in that time, it was still more
open and well planned. Yes, so it was very good. And also at the same time, we also had a motivation, because our kaldalli in the 60s and 70s and 80s, we used to have floodlight tournaments, and very famous in Bangalore. ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗಳು, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ BEL, HMT, ITI, ಒಂದು ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ವೆಕೇಷನ್ ಆದರೆ ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ದೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್, ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್, ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಕಬಡ್ಡಿ, ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಖೋಖೋ. ದೀಸ್ 4 games were like one after another
ನಡೀತಾನೆ ಇರೋದು.
ಸೊ ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಫೇಮಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆದರೆ ಕಲರ್ಫುಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಗ್ಯಾಲರಿ
So
ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
as a player, as also a person who sits and watch as a fan, ಎರಡೂ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ನಿಮಗಿತ್ತು.
ಆವಾಗ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಈ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫುಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲೀಸ್, ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
So you grew together as a team.
Yes. So it was a good bonding, and we were also classmates in school.
So success is not about one person.
Yes. Then ಯಾವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದು, and I started getting an exposure to be a part of the school team. We won. I got best player in most of the championship. That made me think that I should pursue this sport, very seriously. That is how I took that up and continued. And another important thing in my journey was when I was a small boy in BEL. When I was maybe I think 8 or 10 years old, my cousin had come. ಊರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಂದ ಏರ್ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಏರ್ಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಅ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಿ ವಾಕ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ವೇ. ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಹಿ ಟುಕ್ ಮೀ ಅಲಾಂಗ್. ಜಾಲಹಳ್ಳಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ವಿ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದ ಏರ್ಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್. Then they did not, because those days it's all fenced, from those days, but not so much as security now. But we were sitting there. Suddenly one man saw, why these two people are sitting here? The gentleman asked us, what's the thing? And I was crying also a little bit, young boy, what is this? We have gone up to there, and I have not informed home also. Then finally he said, no, they don't allow inside. But you should go back home. So we all walked back. By the time people were searching for us, my dad's friends and all, then ಆವಾಗ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. Then finally we said we went to the Air Force station. But see the sequence. I was looking at wanting to see aircraft, but later on I got an offer from HAL, joined Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. I had a beautiful career, though I've been able to see how all the best of the aircrafts are built, how it is grown. See how life brings in, though, which we never thought,
Somewhere it is always destined towards your motivation.
Yes.
ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ತಂತಾನಾಗೆ ಹುಡುಕಿ ಅರಸಿ ಬಂತು.
And not only that, ನಮ್ಮ parents ನಮಗೆ not only education, they encouraged me to do extracurricular activities. I have done a lot of gardening, and my house was full of pots, and beekeeping. So I used to do a lot of beekeeping at home.
Apiary is a trend now.
It's a trend. I was a member of that. Then later on I stopped, because when you're stung, you get swelling. You can't go out for matches. People will look, what is that? I've gone for some matches with stings. People will ask, what happened to your face? What happened to your hand? So it's an interesting journey. Then, they always kept us busy. You had pets. You had lovebirds. So you had aquariums. So the life was not only about studies. They encouraged me to do others. If I liked something, they encouraged, and they said, these are the things, go ahead, do it, these are all good.
Oh my God, that's a very different kind of journey than what kids of today actually see or go through.
Yes, I'm sure that that freedom of thing was much more in those days than what it is today. We hesitate because they hardly have space, lung space. You're worried about the road, the traffic. So I think that makes a lot of difference.
We are more worried. We are more concerned of today's generation, and with technology coupled with a lot of other complications. You were blessed with that, and I think you made the most of it.
Yeah, I thank God that I had lovely support of that. And then after, on my journey, I met my wife, Nivedita. She has supported me all through my journey, right from playing days. I think she sacrificed a lot, because I was always out even after marriage, and I was never at home.
With many hundreds of tournaments for India, for international games, you have continuously been there. And also 15 ವರ್ಷ ಸತತವಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಭಾರತದ ತಂಡವನ್ನ.
That I thank God, because there is nobody who could play without a break. That's a rare opportunity for anybody, and that without his blessings it's not possible. So ದೇವ್ರದಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಾಂಪಿಯನ್ಶಿಪ್ಸ್, ಅಷ್ಟು ಟೂರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ರೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. I am one of the double international. I played basketball, I played the Indian team for handball. Dunking is very spectacular. ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ 6 ಹೊಡಿತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಂಗೆ crowd fully goes crazy. Like that, basketball ಅಲ್ಲಿ you go over the ring and you slam the ball right into the basket, either in one hand, two hands, or a reverse dunk. That's called dunking. Even now, if you see in every sport, it is very, very spectacular when you do that. And it's also a little demoralizing for the opponent. So
that you made your mark.
I
It's
made
your
a mark.
territory.
Yes, and I started off the first person in India to have started dunking, and in a game. So I've done it a thing. Now a lot of people do it, and also it's more interesting when more and more at my height. Like for example, when you are about 6'3", 6'4", people start dunking. It's more spectacular than a 6'10" or a 7 doing it, because you need to jump so high, you need to be in air for a more fraction of a second and then do it.
Oh my God. Idrali, you also have the body dynamics involved.
Yes.
You have to balance your body, physical energy, the mind dynamics to hold on to that space for quite long.
You're right, and also basketball is a sport where you need to be a perfect athlete, because the basketball game is so fast. You need to have very good endurance to last the full game, because every time you keep moving up and down, and then you need to have good sprints, because you need to be a good sprinter. You need to be a good jumper, because every time you have to jump for the ball in the offensive court, you have to jump back at the defensive court. And then you have to be a very intelligent person. See, I always say a lot of basketball players, you have to be intelligent, because you should know in a fraction of a second where to pass. A person is cutting, you need to pass. Somebody is beating the opponent and he's coming in, you need to assist your teammate. It's all like within a fraction of a second. And all these fraction of a second happens yavaga now daily practice in, and thousands of times madana it becomes automatic. It's like a computer which is set in your mind. So basketball is a perfect athlete for anybody who plays basketball has to be a very good athlete.
Since you were also involved in many other games during your childhood, each game taught you something.
Yes.
To be a good sprinter, to calculate in fraction of seconds, to make the next move.
No, you're perfectly right, because I was a good volleyball player. I used to smash. So I used to block. So I learned a lot of spot jump. In fact, if you, NIS Patiala, when I was there, they have all our tests for all parameters for basketball, scientific tests are there. Avaga sports science alla avaru heloru ee tara that your spot jump was taken in par with international recognized standards. So that was a good thing. I had a good sprints. I was selected for 1982 Asian Games. I am one of the double international. I played basketball, I played the Indian team for handball, and before I could go for the juniors, I was in the senior Indian handball camp for Asian Games, and I also played for the senior Indian handball team. So it's a very interesting journey, because our camps ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 Asian Games camp ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. So it was in each camp will consist of about 4 to 6 weeks. That's the national camp rule in those days throughout. So avaga camps alli it was really tough for me, to be very frank, but I never gave up. I said yakandre a youngster with the senior camp.
Seniors. And almost a decade.
With age difference, you're right. And they were all much matured players. And
they were experienced also.
Experienced
they
players.
Were very seasoned
They've
players.
already played Indian team. They're all in that. But they had put 3 or 4 of us. One, a couple of, 2 from Maharashtra, 1 from Hyderabad, and 1 from Karnataka was me. So they had brought us as juniors into the senior handball camp as a potential to have it. So our camps ali, we had to be with them. But I always thank my seniors, because they all encouraged me. The Mangalore correspondence course, the guides irodu adana carry ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ it will have question and answer. So ಈ senior players who are from Air Force, who are from other banks, other police, they would like, this fellow is interested. So they used to ask me in the evening, you're a small boy, so they used to still treat me as a child. Hey, have you finished studies now before coming for dinner? They would just ask me and say, okay, if you have anything, any doubts idre nan keli, it's okay. So this was also a motivation factor for me that I should keep in touch with education. At the same time, I had played 79 junior nationals for Karnataka. Since in that 4 years, 80 we were the winners, 81 we were the winners, and 82 when we played, they had, so immediately from the camp from Hyderabad, I went directly to Pune Nationals for the junior nationals for Karnataka team. So I had not been in the camp. So they told me directly you can join the team there because I had already won 3 national championships and I was one of the top scorers. So I went directly to Pune. We lost in the semi-finals, but I was called for the 1982 basketball camp. So I didn't pursue handball further because basketball was my first love at that point of time. So I said basketball was my priority, so let me take up basketball. That's how my journey in basketball with the first Indian camp started from a junior, and they were all in the senior camp in the same campus. So I remember the coach, chief coach said when I walked into the junior camp, Mr. Sandhu was the coach of the thing, national coach of the handball team. He looked at me, he said, Rajan. Then he said, I'm very angry with you. And he said, you're not coming for the handball camp. But then back of it, he just tapped me and he smiled and told me in my ears, I still remember, it's a good decision you made. Because he knows basketball had more opportunity in the country than handball, but he just tapped and told me in the ears. And I always have regards for him for that, because he smiled at me and he told me that after that.
Probably he knew that you are like the master stroke to the game, because each time you have just channelized your best and you have stuck the maximum number of gold and winning trophies from there. There was no looking back at all. Okay.
Haryana, first camp alli. So it was a new experience for us because that is my first journey in basketball, the first step. But I have already attended a senior Indian camp. So fitness wise, I was much better. I had a step ahead being with the senior national camp of handball. So when I went for the first camp and then followed by, we had camps at Delhi. It was really a very good camp. We were about 40 people. And that is when some of my friends, like who were in the juniors, encouraged me, seeing my movements, my speed, my jump. They started encouraging me, you should learn to dunk. And the camps were very, very interesting because ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಇದೆ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಟೀಸ್, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಟೌನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಂಡೋರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಡಿಯಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಟಫ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಕೈ ಕಾಲೆಲ್ಲ ತರ್ಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಶೂಸ್ ಬೇಗ ಸೋದೋಗೋದು. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ to have good sport shoes. It was an interesting journey, but these were all secondary. It was never in our mind. In those days, avag ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ players were only looking at how to perform and how to play and how to be with the national team. But I always had a goal, and I still tell players now that I never thought that I should be in the national team. I always thought I should do well for the national team. There's a lot of difference. When you think that I want to be in the national team, ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ನೀವು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಡೂ ವೆಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೀಚ್ಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಗೋಲ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಂದಲೇ ನನಗೊಂಥರ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಸೆ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಮೈ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಡೂ ವೆಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಂಪಿಯನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಟು ಮನೀಲಾ, the championship, our time alli ABC Junior Asian Basketball Championship andre, there used to be both the boys and the girls going together. That was one of the last championship. After that, boys are separate, girls are separate. So it was a very interesting journey. We had very good training under coach in the first camp by Mr. Nanjundeya from Mysore. He was called a lucky coach because 2-3 sati Karnataka team, when he coached, we won medals, and he was the coach. Then immediately Mr. Subramaniam came. He was always had a spark for spotting young players. He was our coach, and for youngsters he is very good to make you work hard. And he was from NIS Patiala. That time it was called NIS, now it is SAI. So he was the coach there. So he is a very good hard-working coach. In fact, I remember nam camps alli we hardly had, we used to have 2 to 3 sessions a day. Morning sessions 2 hours, then second session would be shooting session and skill development, and evening would be skill and game situation. So we used to have Ella camps, so normally 4 to 6 weeks camps. And it used to be a very tight camp because they were looking at getting the best out of the players. When we moved to Patiala, we were able to get the indoor grounds. And at the same time, 1982 was a season of Asian Games. All Asian Games preparatory camps for seniors was held at Patiala, NIS Patiala. So it's a big campus where you had all the best of the athletes who used to be there, right? All the top athletes were training there because that was the biggest center, and we were youngsters with the junior camp also. Avaga, I've seen weight training equipments which has come specially for Asian Games in 1982, which are all individual stations like how they have. Otherwise, our Kaldalli, they used to be multi-gym, or they used to be like how you do weightlifting weights. So these were the exposure we got. So now Kelloru 3-4 players like Rizwan from Hyderabad, Rajesh Srivatsava was there, then Suri from Tamil Nadu, and Nishikant Singh from Manipur. We were few of us who took extra effort, and Anvan Anthony from Kerala, that we used to go on our own to do extra weights because we all felt that we need to bring in more power, more strength and thing. So stamina workout coaches you do, but strength training, they could guide us, but you have to put your extra effort. So that is when I said that if you have to stay longer in playing, continuous agarta irbekandre, you have to have good fitness, then only it helps you to stay longer, sustain for a long period of time. So 1982 now Philippines, before that we had the pre-Asian Games where all the senior teams were playing in to see the preparation of the Asian Games village, the Asian Games where the government had organized in all sport. So we also participated in that. We got a good exposure. We went to Philippines, we had a good exposure there, and in Philippines the ambassador hosted us. He came for the matches. So these are all very proud moment for us. An ambassador who comes, he meets you. The embassy people come for your games, they watch. So the team did well. Out of that, a few of us, like 3-4 of us, especially myself, Rajesh, Rizwan and Anwin, we moved over to the senior batch. Like in the 83, immediately at the Hong Kong Asian Basketball Championship, we had an all-time great coach called Sam Joseph, who did the first batch, and he was the head coach of chief coach of NIS Patiala till he retired. He was a very outstanding player himself who did the first batch of coaching, and he has produced many outstanding players. So under him, so he is a very hard-working coach. He likes youngsters, number one, and he likes people who work hard. So first camp Bangalore at Kantirwa Stadium. Then we played an exhibition match in Jayanagar. So I still remember when he called me to the room. He said, "Rajan, you're on the team today." We had about 30 people. But he said, "You're on the team." I was surprised. I said, "I've just joined the camp a few weeks and he has already got an eye on me." ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕರೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜಯನಗರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕನ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಯಿತು. ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 5 minutes he put me inside also. He said, "This is the psychology. You are playing in your home place. You are a young boy and I want that confidence to be with you, that you will go all out to play better.
Because it's your hometown.
And it is the thing." So he gave me a few minutes chance. Then after that, we were with the camps back to Patiala. Then Allo, the team went to Hong Kong. We did very well. We were 5th in the championship. That was one of the best teams India has ever sent. And we were 2 young boys who were in that, myself and Rajesh Srivatsava, who did his engineering from Bangalore, but he moved over to Mumbai. So he and myself were as juniors into the senior team. The senior team consists of all-time great like Hanuman Singh. He was one of the best ball handler, Arjun Awadi, Radhesham, Ajmer Singh, the top scorer in Olympics. So the team was Om Prakash Junior Senior. It was a name which a very good competition to get into the team. And in spite of being there, the coach Sam Joseph, for me as such, I got maybe about 8 to 10 minutes each game. That itself gave a lot of boost because you are playing with all the stalwarts, and all of them, the seniors, especially Hanuman Singh, Radhesham, Ajmer Singh, they always encouraged youngsters and they gave a lot of push. They said, come on, you cut, you'll get the ball, you work hard, you do that, they pushed. So we did a very good placing in those days with the 2022 all Asian teams. Coming to semi-final itself is a big thing. We were in the 5th. Then immediately we moved to Bangkok for another championship. And the same China team we played in the finals, we won a silver medal. So we had a very good reception in Delhi when we came. They received us, they honored us. And those days there was not money, there was nothing. That respect of receiving, the acknowledgement, that itself gives you a lot of pleasure.
So carrying your nation's pride gives you a lot more.
Yes, and always, as you said, that the nation's pride. So you want to do well. See, my motto always was till the last that when you go, you don't go as a tourist to see a tour, a country. You go there to play well, you execute it, and you should make a mark for yourself. So slowly I became one of the leading rebounders in all the championships, whether it is in India, it's abroad, leading one of the top 2 to 3 scorers for the country. So this was my standard thing. And in those days, I always had a habit of visualizing. There was no psychologist or nobody to teach you, but you had some foreign coaches.
Today we have sports psychiatry, which is a booming career as well.
Today everything, you have a fitness coach, you have a nutritionist.
The first lesson probably, as you say, is visualization, so you can manifest your visions to reality.
So I used to keep thinking every day, in the morning, in the evening, before you sleep, before you take rest, how to shoot. I'm thinking, how do I collect rebounds? So every day I keep thinking the game situations. So this helped me, which I didn't understand at that time, because there were some foreign coaches in Patiala during the 82 Asian Games. So I used to just talk to them. Many of the foreign coaches, not even from our teams, they used to be athletics, and so I used to just talk to them and ask them, how do you do, what is your training? So I used to get all these inputs and I used to practice that. That helped me till my last, because game situations, I would think today we are playing this game, so how I should play and what I should do. And always slowly as I grew, I learned from some of these coaches. We had a very good coach like Prithpal Singh. Then we had a couple of coaches from Bangalore itself, like Mr. Ramar, then Mysore Srinivas Gowda. So they all every coach gave some good inputs. Interacted with the foreign coach, he says, my duty is I will coach you in the ground. I want the result in the ground. So before coming to the ground, it's your duty to get fit. How do you get fit? You have to be with a fitness trainer. You have some psychological problem, you have to go to a psychologist, or you have to learn the skills. You want to have proper nutrition. Now, in those days, the coach only would tell, you have milk, you have egg, you have this,
Now we have dietetics and nutrition division, which comes into play.
And each one has a different thing. Your weight training for you is different, for each position is different, for your diet is different for different position, different games. So these were all the very good thing. And during my journey, I always took it as that every coach has something good. That's one thing I believe. You may not, I know people will say, oh, this coach does not have everything, but there will be some good points. Catch the strength of that coach and try to take that good points to you. Leave the rest. So I always believed in taking the best out of every ordinary coach. Also has some good points to give you. So if you think that that's important, take it across. So working in these aspects helped me grow more and more. And also understanding, for example, as you grow older, how do you change your style of game? See, when you're in your till your late 20s,
you'll be more aggressive.
More aggressive thing. Then you start using your intelligence. Like, for example, a lot of people still appreciate. I take the sky hook, which is called in basketball. I introduced dunking when I was a kid. When I came in my 30s, I started my sky hook. Even a 7-footer like Panda, or very tough players, taller players who could jump, they could not take it because you had developed a new skill.
Yes.
And I mastered that skill. That became a good
It's a hallmark.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a hallmark that you.
And another important thing I always felt in my journey was I should leave the game when I'm still good. Okay, I had led the team for various series, various championship. In fact, when I led the first time the Indian team in 1987 to Bangkok, so we were playing the 5th and the 6th place matches, and we did exceedingly well. The team beat very good teams like Jordan and other things, and then finally India was having the SAF Games finals in Calcutta, and none of us knew that for the final game, 3 of us were supposed to fly back. We just finished the game against Malaysia, we won the game, and immediately the coach says, pack your bags, we are flying. He said, flying? We have got one more game. He says, no, you have to go to the Calcutta and join the team for the India versus Pakistan finals, and that was the prime time match. The whole stadium was about 10 to 15,000 packed.
Back then.
And nobody knew that we have arrived. So if you see the pictures, you see all that, we were only 3 of us who never had the SAF Games uniform. The whole SAF Games contingent has a national uniform. So we landed there, they also didn't know. Only the players were surprised to see us in the breakfast table in the morning. We landed in the aircraft, Mr. Shah was the commissioner of police, he was the president of basketball. So he had arranged for a reception, we stayed in the hotel. Morning when we were going for breakfast, other teammates are surprised. Then the coach told them that, no, they are our teammates. They were surprised, they themselves did not know. Then we had an evening, the finals, that was the closing of SAF Games also. We won the match. There was a huge coverage, I still have the press clippings. We scored 32 points in that game, and we won. And the whole stadium was, India-Pakistan, any game
Yes,
is always
any
a
game,
good. Volleyball, football, anywhere it is. So, it was a beautiful thing, and they had trained with I think the American side, because they had some government protocol where they went there and trained, and they had come. They had a good team at that time, and the best of the team did not come to the ABC at Bangkok. So they withdrew from that sport. They wanted to win the SAF game. They were here. Oh. They were surprised to see us because we had not played the other games, but we played only the finals.
And you won that.
Yeah, won, and it was a memorable
It's a historic
moment.
win, definitely.
And it's also an honor, like somebody saying, the country needs you, from here to here you go. It's definitely it's a boost for you also, So it's a great thing. Then when the first historic tour, when the government had sent the Indian team to USA, I led the team because we had touring test matches there. So it's a beautiful journey. But at the same time, they should still say, when you leave the sport, that sports only know he's a top player. That's how
True.
it is.
At that peak, you should.
So when I left the game at 96, I was still in my peak. After that, the nationals, we won a bronze medal. So still the coaches, I remember when the team was supposed to go for the Asian Basketball Championship, the coach called me, the secretary spoke to me, but I told them that secretary knew about it, Mr. JP Mishra, that I would like to leave it because when I'm still good, he knew about it. So he told the coach, see, Rajan has already told me he wants to think. Then Bevan said, why don't you come? Bevan Chako was the coach. He said, why don't you come play one more ABC as a senior player? I said, I love to play for the country, but I still like to leave when I'm still good. So give me the choice of that. Then he smiled. So it's nice because I've seen, you don't want to leave after some time. Sometimes it happens. People, you like that you say, let me extend one more championship.
Yes. I think every player, every athlete goes through that moment.
It's a very difficult decision because I took a lot of discussions with my wife, Nivedita, who supported me, with some of my close friends, with some of the association and everything. I took some time to get that comfort because you're 15 years, you're 7 to 8 months outside, then you travel to different 1 or 2 championships abroad, then you play test series, you're always on the thing. It's a total different feel and takes quite a thing, not an easy decision.
I still remember this one great achievement of his, which is like very, very fresh in my mind. In 1987, he had gone with the Indian team as a captain. After the championship was over, he was one of the 3 people who were selected to and flown into India to play against Pakistan in the final match. So I think this was something very proud and a great moment, for all of us.
How is the different amalgamation of different cultures, territories, boundaries? How could you make use of that?
As part of culture, what happens is when you go outside, the most difficult aspect for an Indian athlete in those days was the food. The food was the biggest problem for them because you used to have the Asian food, and most of the Indian players found it very difficult because now a lot of people know what is an Indian, North Indian diet, South Indian diet and all that.
Yes,
Those
Asian
days,
cuisine is
different.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
smell is different, they like
Flavors
it, but
are different, spices are different.
So it was a tough journey for many of the players, but some of us were quite comfortable. We knew how to manage it, and we used to have bread and rice and
At least some options to explore and adapt and adjust.
But people who are pure vegetarians, they had a very tough time, and they had to have yogurt, they had to have get some white rice and those kind of thing. Breakfast they could manage because everywhere there is bread and fruits and yogurt and all that. But lunch
But for
and
the
dinner,
actual realm of protein, carbs and other
all
things,
that
it was very
not
difficult for them.
But sometimes what we did was, we used to immediately, whenever we used to go for a championship, we used to find out where is the Gurdwara. So we used to ask where is that. So then we used to try to get through some of our friends, because we had a lot of friends from Punjab and all that, and plus through the thing, we used to tell them that we have come.
So they would
Khana
host
thoda
you.
miss kar raha hai.
Langar they used to
So
host.
what they used to do is they used to send us chapati, they used to send us a bucket full of aloo ka sabji and all that. So wherever there was gurdwaras, sometimes we used to request, and they were more than happy to take care. So there was no telephone line anywhere to call. So it was a tough journey. You had to go either to the post office, and my wife or my mother had to call me back either on a Saturday or a Sunday. And those days after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you used to have quarter charge. So
And once you go with the team, it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks, 100% every camp. So after 3 camps only the tour will be there. So you train for 3-4 months, then you go for a tour. So, yes, for the 15-20 years, it's completely, you're packed, you come here, immediately you go for the state team. You go for the other nationals. I'm talking, this is for the Indian team. Now you go for the state team. So you're again out of it. So it's difficult.
I have known Rajan ever since the 1980s when we played basketball together for Karnataka State. And we got married in June of 1982, and Rajan left for the camp in, I think, July of 1982, and there were series of tours, and one of the biggest tour that he went was for the US tour, which was organized by the Basketball Federation of India, and it was a great breakthrough in Indian basketball because that was the first time Indian team was going to the mecca of basketball, and that is USA. So when he left in July, he came back only in December, first week of 1982. So many months, we were apart. And besides this, we have also missed festivals, we have missed birthdays, we have missed family outings, family gatherings. All those things have been missed. But it has also been very nice, like, telling you the other side, like, waiting for him and, listening to all his stories about how the championships went. We are from the same sport, and we understand each other, and we can talk sports, we can discuss sports, and there's nothing that is different among us. And also, like things like how can what improvement can be done in sports, or what challenges the Rajan faced when he was playing, and what he could do, were all things that we discussed as a husband and wife and as a couple. One thing is, I had to take care of his diet. So I still remember him, telling me, he used to like to eat hot chapatis. So I used to keep making the chapatis, and then I didn't know when to stop. So he would, at the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, he would say, just keep making the chapatis. So I remember making like 12 to 15 chapatis for every meal. So, that was the kind of thing.
What is emotional resilience to you as a sports person, and how much it is needed? Because you have to play on the ground, you have to have that conscious living and living in the moment, because you're playing for India, greater good than keeping your family in your heart.
It's a tough journey at that moment, but you need a very supportive family. First is your wife and your parents.
That's the core.
That's the core, because they are always together and they are there. So they have to think that this is important for them and give you all the support. If they are giving you all the support, then you can go ahead with it. But if that support is not there from your family, then what happens is always in the back of the mind, oh, you were not there for the child's birth, oh, okay, my wedding anniversary, you were not there. For a sportsman, like when you started, like till the 15, from childhood to 15, 20 years, all birthdays, this function, wedding, families, everything, you're there. After that, I lost touch with many of my relatives, my thing, because you, 15, 20 years, you're out and they're also grown now. So you miss everything, but that is a sacrifice every sportsman has to do it, and every athlete has to take it forward and withstand it. If you don't withstand it, then your career becomes shorter.
How it has been for the family, missing Rajan and during his absence when he was playing. My daughter Karishma, she actually did get to see Rajan play a little of basketball. She was very small, she was maybe about 2 or 3 years old, and those days telecommunication was so limited. The only point of contact was phone, and we used to wait every weekend for him to make a call. So every Saturdays he would call at 9 p.m. because after that was when it was a quarter rate. So the rate was quarter rate, so that's the time when he used to call us, and my daughter used to keep waiting a lot to listen to Dada and listen to his voice. And I also remember that she had Rajan's chest number was 15, so my mother had got her jacket, a small basketball jacket with 15 as a number. They got the bronze medal in the nationals, and when they came back, I had taken my daughter also to receive him at the railway station, and we have a photograph of her also being carried. And though they did not see him play at the level what he was playing, they definitely knew that their father was one of the greatest players. But Rashmika, my younger one, did see Rajan play, but they were very young, very little. And they always tell their father, Daddy, I hope, you can play now and we can see you when you're playing. Because they only heard and they have from people all about how famous he was and
First Indian basketballer to ever dunk and one of the greatest Indian basketballers in Indian history. This is a very proud moment for me to be able to speak about my father. As great as a sportsman he has been an even greater father. One of the biggest lessons in life I've learned from him is to always be humble no matter where you are, who you are and what you are. He has always been so humble, so kind, loving and caring, and it's exactly the kind of person I really want to be. Burn Basketball Academy, which was run both by my mother and father, and I had the honor to be coached by my father. It was a very proud moment to have him guide me on my techniques, give me the right fitness advice, and just be there to watch me improve and grow as a basketballer too. At that point, walking around as a family, and there would always be somebody who noticed my father, and they would stop by and say, "Sir, like, are you our Rajan?" And my father would say yes. And they would say, "We're such big fans and we would love to take photos with you. Is it possible?" And either you'd be the one taking the photo or I'd be the one standing on the side. But it was such a proud moment.
There is somebody who is out there to motivate you, to boost your spirits up. Similarly, this is what happens when you're out there on the field with your team, representing India, representing our state, representing international platforms. How did the coach help, and especially the people, may it be your school, your college or your workspace, how did that transition happen?
Foremost thing is working hard, playing is one aspect. Adhe tarah, we need the support from the people around you. See, parents are there, family is there, that is a different support. You need the others, your teachers. Like for example, when I was in my 10th, I remember we were all doing well, playing 8 tournaments you won, and everybody saying they are winning, playing, all that. And then once the management asked the principal, he's doing all that. How is he going to pass his 10th standard? The principal said, Rajan is doing all that. What do you? Then he said, you leave it to our person. It's my responsibility. And he called me. He said, Rajan, what is your practice timings? I told this. Are you interested to pursue? I said, yes, sir. Studies is important. In the practice, ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 7 ಗಂಟೆ ಸರಿ 8:30 ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡು, ಯು ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರಾಮರಾವ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೆಲ್ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್. ಈ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮೀ 8:30 ನೀನು ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡು, ಆರ್ 9 o'clock 1 hour till 10:30 ತೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯಾ? 6:30 ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್ ನನ್ನ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ಗೆ. 5:30 ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡು, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಓಪನ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಬೆಲ್ right from my 10th standard till I finished my graduation. Any subject, anything, 10th standard till PUC, every day. When I'm in Bangalore, he said, you come, all subjects. Then degree, whatever help you want, you come. So he's there. When I was in lower school, Mrs. RF and Butta headmistress idru. She said, my doors are open, you come, I'll teach you all subjects whichever you have doubt. So I used to go there, evening art, I used to go there. Then when you are in again middle school, one Mrs. Lalitabai. So these people all, plus your teachers, though they were very particular. The first time in the school has seen so much of sports, rewards and recognition covering in the paper and all that. They were very happy, but the teachers also gave me a lot of support. Then when you go along the journey, your coaches are very important. And if you have your work ethics, like your sincere practice, your hard working, the coaches know you're inclined to learn and you're putting that effort, the coaches try to help you. So all these coaches in the journey, every coach, whether he's a small coach, big coach, he has helped me grow into a great athlete. Then along with that, I have a different sequence. Like when I was in the juniors, still in school, in the senior level, who is now the president of FIBA Asia, Dr. Govindraj. So he was with the seniors. So somebody, Nazar and Rajkumar, our senior players, told he's a good talent. Why don't we take him for a senior tournament? Then he said, ಬಂದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ 1-2 ದಿವಸ. ಸೊ ಬಂದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್. He said, no, ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. He took me for the first championship. He made me play. Then after that, he was a player, and then I was still a very junior player. He is much senior, and then he became administrator in Karnataka Association. He came as manager. He would encourage. Then when I was playing, he became the secretary of Basketball Association in Karnataka. So Dr. Govindraj, he helped me throughout as a player. Means he used to encourage, come on, you're going, do well, you continue playing till whenever you want, whatever support you want, we will give you. And as I left the game, he immediately said, you have the potential, you have the interest, I want to bring you as a selector. So he brought me as a state selector. From I think 96, 97, I've been the selector, still I continue to be. When he took over in the Federation, Basketball Federation as president, then he said, I want you to be a selector with the... And before that also, when Harish Sharma was there, he made me also the selector there. So he said, I want you to be the selector. He brought me as a selector. So he saw me from 13 to 23, I was been with the Indian team selections in juniors, seniors, most of the categories, to identify the juniors so that they can play for the seniors. So he gave me a lot of he said, players are there, it will be good for the sport. He pushed in that.
Rajan is very hardworking, dedicated and committed to basketball. He is very honest and frank, and above all, he is very helpful. I firmly believe that a sporting career of a sportsman is very short, but what helps in his full life is the friends he makes during his sporting career. And I am fortunate to have Rajan as one of my close friends who has always been helping me in time of need.
He captained the senior Indian team and led the team to many good performances in the international competitions as well. He was instrumental in teams' good performances, be it the Karnataka men state team, the national team, or his employer HA. Being a prolific scorer and a dynamic player, his presence would inspire the other members of his team to put in extra effort towards the team's overall performance in search of a trophy triumph. Mr. Rajan was the most impressive slam dunker in the 1980s. Each of his dunks would demoralize the opponents by long way, and very seldom opponents would recover from the bout of devastation. As a result of his consistent, superlative and inspiring performances all over the country and internationally, many youngsters took the game of basketball seriously in India. Champion basketball player was recognized as a star, and in turn he promoted the game among youngsters all over the country.
You also worked for HAL. So how did that transition happen?
He sent me as manager for the Sabah games, for the Junior Asian Basketball Championship, for the Senior Championship, then to Philippines also to the World Cup qualifiers. Then finally, when recently about a year and a half back, he said, Rajan, you're doing all that, why don't you do a mentorship? There is no mentorship in sport. So why don't you do? I said, okay, I'll do. So he said, there is a one-year course by the International Basketball Federation. So it has to go through the federation. So Dr. Govindraj recommended that name. He said, he's a good athlete. So it was a one-year certified course. It's a mentorship program for sports. So you mentor young athletes. Mentor andre, I can mentor any young players, not only in basketball, on life after sport.
Coach.
Yes,
as a life coach.
So I am the first qualified person in basketball. Now I just finished last year the course. So now I want to help our Karnataka players and even other players, not only in sport, in other games also. Other time Mr. S.R. Bharat Soslen idru. He is, when I was a junior, he was the manager. So he was a player himself. When he became manager, he identified. He said, you have got good talent, you should continue playing. And the team would have the regular meals, but I used to have bread and egg. So he used to tell, come, after that I'll take you, you have your proper diet, don't keep eating what you are having in camps you have. So like that. He used to organize tournament in Malaysia. So he used to ask me, players ಏನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು, what type of them? I said, see, players matches floodlights aladsi, then you give some cash prize for the players. It'll be nice,
different kind of exposure, so they get motivated to do better.
Yes. Also, slowly we became good family friends, and he and his wife used to always guide us. And as youngsters, he used to say that now you started working in HAL, you should start saving. Don't spend like all. Players here, you have to save, you have to think. So they have been a very close family friend till now also. They are good. Like he's like an elder brother to me. He's mentored me like that. You know how much they have contributed to help you to understand.
And be who you are.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So that's how the people around you are also very, very important.
So with success, we only see the beauty and the glory part of it. But with failure, you learn, you gain a lot of experience. Any one such failure, if any, that you would have encountered because of a sports injury, you could not go to a certain championship or you could not attend certain things, anything that made you learn a whole new way of approaching life and game?
See, what happens is in sports, you have success and failure, like rightly said, but you learn to take winning and losing in your stride. But there are injuries which happens in a sports life. All by God's grace, that has been, God has taken care to see that you have injuries, but you're recovered right in time. I still remember before going to Sri Lanka for the SAF games, I had a strain, and then Bangalore, the camp was going. I spoke to Prithpal Singh. I said, so I'm not able to come back to the best thing. What do you think? He said, still there is a week. He just took me to the doctor. I think it was Dr. Ramesh. So he said, Rajan, you don't worry about it. You'll be fit. There is still time. And 3 days before championship, still there is the stretch, and you are not fully started practicing. But still the coach had the confidence because I had played many championships. He says, don't worry, it will be there. I still remember just maybe a day before the championship, I was able to do a little bit of workout and get into it. So I was able to recover. The coach was like Prithpal Singh and all, intelligent. He says, you don't need in all games. And he didn't use me in the first game. He said, you recover by the time you're second. So these all, the coaches play a major role. because they know how to get the best out of you at what games.
What time.
So by the time your semis, I played, I think, half the game in a thing. When I was in finals, I played the full. By the time you are recovered, so that is there. Another important aspect I would like to share is my journey after sport, you know.
Okay.
See, as a sportsman, I was very actively playing. They took me in HAL and I joined as an officer there when it was in 84. And HAL was one which supported me in such a way. They said, you're playing. For what you're joined for playing. I still remember the president, who's the executive director, told me, you just keep playing. The day you retire or you leave, then you look of working, though you're attached to department. So if I go, even in the departments, what they would do, I was like a visiting professor. I'll go there, hey, ನೀನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಪ್ಪ, ನೀನು ಕೂತ್ಕೋ, ನಿಂದು ಟೂರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳು, ಆ ಕತೆ ಹೇಳು ನಮಗೆ, ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪು, ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ. This is how the people treated me in the office.
So you have so many angels all across.
Yeah. So that's a blessing, I say. You don't get everybody.
Anything that made you learn a whole new way of approaching life and game?
In sporting life, a lot of people, what they do, they give appointment. Appointment ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, 4 hours ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡು, 5 hours ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡು, 3 hours off ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, practice ಮಾಡು. That is after 30. See, still you are in the peak, you need to train as a professional.
Continuous.
So this is what HAL gave me. As soon as I finished one day, I was working, plus I was looking after a thing. Then HAL found that I was good. They put me to head public relations. I was the first person in 2000, I headed public relations. And till I finished my tenure in HAL, they continued as head of the public relations of the Bangalore complex, which is one of the biggest complex. And I worked under 10 managing directors and CEOs, directly under them. And it's not easy. You work under, like if you work under different coaches, you learn how to balance with all the directors. Each one has a different thing.
Especially managing directors.
You're directly under managing directors, or then it changed to CEOs who are, I think, the designation. So you're working directly under them. And all the CMDs and all directors in my journey, which many of them I'm still in touch, they all helped me grow in my journey because they had that sporting attitude. I still remember a couple of MDs. Hey Rajan, I used to watch your match in Malleshwaram, how you are playing. Then one MD used to say in Jayanagar, in match ಬಂದು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಜೈ ಜೈ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಪ್ಪ. They used to be there. I wouldn't know about it. They were all who became MD. So it's that kind of support from your organization. So till I finished my tenure in HAL, I remember all the CMDs, even when I just think the CMDs would talk, they'll ask me about basketball. How is the sport? How are you doing? How's your sports going on? So this is how a sportsman journey is. So you feel very happy, you know, that people ask you about the sport. I just had last week a championship going on. One gentleman came, he just spoke to me. He said, sir, can I have a selfie? He said, give me your blessings. I was a great fan of you in ITI. My dad worked in ITI. I watch your tournaments. My son is playing now for the thing. So just give us your blessings and you take. I said, God is there to bless you, but you're a great fan, you remember. So he just took a selfie just 4-5 days back.
Back then there was not even the TV, the local channels or the print to publish a lot of these things. Today everything is glorified. We would want to be in touch with you all.
When people need my knowledge, I'm there to share. But I always feel that what you're playing days, what you get is always much higher. When you retire, it's the people who have seen you playing, they remember you. I still remember a friend of mine who just sent me a message from America. Hey Rajan, yesterday we were talking about you under your captainship, how we had fun and how we played. He just sent me a WhatsApp message yesterday saying that it was really wonderful moments we had. I sent him back, you are one of the best passers for us, not only for my HAL team, you were for Karnataka team. That kind of pass, selfless game you played. You used to pass. If I keep scoring, you kept on passing to me. You are such a good ball handler. You used to have fun, laugh at the other opponent after giving a good pass. You know, these things, you know,
they recognize those attributes. So journey from self, from individuality towards selflessness.
I had a wonderful opportunity to represent the senior state team under the captainship of RAJAN. He was a wonderful motivator to his team members. One, with his performance itself, most importantly, his discipline. I remember in 1997, Rajan spearheaded Karnataka state team along with one more legendary player, namely B.S. Gautam and Rajkumar, to win the bronze medal in 1997 for Karnataka in Senior National Basketball Championship.
We also have few photographs which we would want to show it to you, and you just give a gist of what went behind those photographs, because
sure.
they say every picture speaks a million words. So we would just want to know what happened behind that moment before it was being captured.
Yeah. These are the best part of my journey because they are everything to me. Like my wife Nivedita, my two lovely daughters Karishma and Rashmika, they're called Lakshmi to us. I love having them around. They're both sportsmen, but they are themselves now finished their education, they're working, they're individual person. And they all had their childhood being in sport, coming around, watching training, going around, watching matches of whenever I go as a coach, as a manager, when I go to train people, they have been there. So it's a beautiful journey of that. Oh, this is come in Sudha magazine. I remember I was in the national camp.
This was in the year 86,
in the,
87?
I think somewhere in the mid-80s.
Okay.
When I was in the camp, those days, I would say today there is so much of coverage. In those days, the print media was the whole, they used to describe a game so nicely, the reporters, how you played or how you did not play. They would describe it so nicely and put it across. So it's just like a film where people read it of every match. So we would always
so
look
they
for
entirely visualize what happened there.
And that was the only thing which people knew after that. There was nothing else in those days. So it was very interesting, and Sudha had interviewed me. Then after that, I was in the camp. I don't know anything about it, because you give interviews and you forget the whole thing because you're going on. Yes.
Ever since I was a little child, my parents used to take me to the basketball court and make me sit on the sidelines. I would enjoy watching my dad play and also playing with the basketball. As I grew up a little bit more, my dad gave me a tiny basketball which is used for children, and that's how I learned to play the sport. And as I grew up more, my dad became my first basketball coach. He would coach me on weekends, and on the weekdays he would take me for road running and jogging and additional basketball training to practice more on my dribbling skills and my shooting skills. I remember when I was a little girl, my dad had taken me for a HAL match, and I remember my dad wearing a green HAL jersey and playing on the HAL court and taking a layup as part of the pre-game warm-up and also playing the game. At the end of every game, I remember all his teammates would come and play with me and interact with me, which was very, very nice. As I would go all over India to play my basketball games, I would always meet somebody who knew my dad from his playing days. And they would always share such wonderful stories about his game, and it would make me so proud of being his daughter. I was very privileged and lucky to have my dad as a coach throughout my basketball career. He even taught me his infamous sky hook, that whenever I used it in a game, people would recognize it and say, "Rajan sky hook." So it was always a very touching feeling for me, and I was very lucky and happy that I got to learn the sport from one of the great legends of basketball in India.
ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಫ್ಯಾಮ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್, ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಯು ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಆರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎನ್ವಲಪ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕಮ್. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಇದು ಬಂತು, ನಾವು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಡ್ಯಾಡಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸುಧಾ ಮ್ಯಾಗಝೀನ್, he has written nicely, he's made a Xerox of that. He said they have written such a beautiful article, and a lot of people in his organization also appreciated and told him. So he gave me a small motivation written in that, and he sent it to Patiala, so which is a very touching moment for me. And these are the things which player needs small motivation by the media covering how you have performed, how you have done. So that gives you that I should do still more better. Oh, this is, I would say that the photo is a very fond memory. Yes, it's for dunking. I've been one of the first player in India set to introduce dunking, and I dunked in every game after I mastered that from the 80s. And whenever I'm in that flow, there were people who used to shout and say, "Rajan, dunk," and in fact I would also say my wife was one of the few people who would sit in the stands, and as soon as that sequence, because she was a player, she could understand.
She knew.
Immediately, "Rajan, dunk." And you are a player, you train that other than the coach and somebody important you want to hear, you don't hear, because one stadium only it is packed. You hear the full stadium. As a sportsman, you have to learn that, because those days coaches always taught us that your ears should only catch the fine of what I'm saying, not for and the referee, not for what the crowd is shouting. So you get so used to it, you can have any type of noise. I remember some of them used to bring a music system, the coaches those days, and they'll put loud cheering just in the practice ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, like as the stadium ಅಲ್ಲಿ clap ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. These are the
and they coached you
primitive way the coaches introduced that, because India did not have so much of technology in the 80s 70s in basketball.
So we shouldn't go by the crowd, we should cut down the chaos and the noise and be fine tuned with the coach.
Because what he's saying, he says a particular defense move, he's changing the number to the, you should have your ear on the coach, or you say switch the man, or you change your play. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ you should be listening to the coach. Oh, this is my first championship as a very small boy. I went with all my great encouragers are there. If I look at this, Dr. Govindraj is there, Nazar is there, Rajkumar is there, Prakash is there, out of which a few more. All these people took me as a young boy. They treated me as a kid. I have the fond memories, because these are all when you are a school ಹುಡುಗ ಆಗಿರುವಾಗ, ವೆರಿ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ, you feel, you look up to them, and also you feel that they have taken you not for a jolly tour, they have taken you because they felt that you have something to do, something is in this boy, so that gave a good push.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸಿವಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್, ಒಂದು ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ನೇಷನ್. ಆ ಟೀಮ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ to grow towards and to prosper towards something better and best for the nation.
Ivaga sports has become an integral part of the journey of ella students go, and ivaga health and fitness has become an important aspect. See, ivaga nim parents morning walking hogtare, ena fitness ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, that is
a part of discipline.
So ivaga ella ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಾವು any sport you start, you keep playing, keep a regular practice. Most important thing is learn the fundamentals correctly when you start, because ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 4-5 years or 2-3 years you are going to a proper coach, he's trying to rectify it, that takes another 1 or 2 years. So start off with getting guidance under a proper coach. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎರಡನೇದು, ಐ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಟೀಚಸ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಡೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿರುವಾಗ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ತೊಗೊಬೇಕು. Sports and rest also is important because you want to recover, you have to be fit for the next session. So these qualities you develop and you start training day and night. So all this helps you in the later stage of life. And ivaga ನೀವು sportsman ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, see, every athlete cannot become, there are lakhs of people in sports, but everyone cannot be an Indian player or cannot be an IPL player or cannot play in
Represent
the top
the country, yeah.
So you have to think that I have to put my best effort, work hard, keep going ahead with it. As your journey is going high, you should be able to get mentored to see whether now from junior level I'm playing for the club, how I'm playing for the club, from there to state, am I playing for the nationals admele, what is the performance, then I'm going there. So these things you also should learn either by yourself or you should take the help of your coach or your guides, and then have a journey with education. Education is very, very important. Even I've discussed with a lot of foreign coaches, a lot of others, they emphasize that education and sports should go hand in hand till a certain stage. So I don't encourage people that, ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಓದೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಇಲ್ಲ, all sportsmen you can easily know how, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, but you know how to manage your time, same way you know how to study and pass and get marks. You should balance both. And if you talk to many CEOs, many companies I've seen who have always told that iವಾಗ sportsmen CV ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, you are done sports and education, somebody is done only education, he says I prefer a sportsman because he'll be a team player in that organization. You may get a contract, you may not get. But still, you know how to take winning and losing in your stride. So you know how to work on it. You don't get yourself too upset about it. And you also are a go-getter, a sportsman, because you work hard, you have all that. Then you are committed. See, I've seen most of the sportsmen, they are all committed to whatever job they are, whether they are life after sport. I've seen many people who are in banks, who are public sectors, they're very committed to that job. If something is assigned, they'll ensure, like how during playing days you complete the job and then you're free.
So it makes you humbled, grounded, and a person with total personality involved to the core. So it makes you a well-informed person also. So this goes both ways and also hand in hand with education and the wisdom you carry across.
And also the biggest investment in life you're making, it's health. See, you during your sporting days you have been running, doing fitness and all. After sport you continue with the same thing. It's good for your health because now you don't need the doctor to tell you to go and do 30 minutes of walking every day. You know that as a sportsman I should keep
it's
doing
integrated
some
in your system. It's embedded that you have to be
you
a
feel
certain way.
unrest if you do not go to a little walk, a little gym, or play a little bit of any sport.
Yes, so we live in touch with the reality, with people around, and with appreciation and motivation. Thank you so much.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be in this channel and share my thoughts. That's the greatest moment for me, and also bring back all my fond memories from my journey of basketball and my journey of corporate life. So it's really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.